Hey, this is part two of a two-part explanation of the syllabus. In the last part, or the first part of the syllabus explanation, we discussed the course description, the nature of the course being online, and we went through the course objectives, those three categories. I would like to go back to the specific course outcomes one more time and walk through those quickly again. So, the course will engage with Scripture through reading the four canonical Gospels. We will walk through over a series of weeks, reading the Bible, reading about 7 chapters a week. And by the time we get at the end of the semester, we'll have read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Sketch out the life and teachings of Jesus as presented in the four canonical Gospels. So we will know by the end of this class largely what Jesus did and what Jesus said. Demonstrate an understanding of the interpretation of the Gospels. And here I mean understand how to interpret the Gospels, an understanding of the interpretation of the Gospels. So that's a process, skill oriented outcome. Express the individual contributions and theological perspectives of each of the four Gospels. Explain non traditional approaches to the Gospels. Apply interpretive skills on a passage in the Synoptic Gospels. Synoptic Gospels, which we'll talk about, are Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Describe the critical issues surrounding the historical Jesus, including the various quests for him and the historical reliability of the Gospels. 8, express Jesus' significance for your life. 9, evaluate competing positions on the significance of Jesus. And then finally, reflect on the significance of Jesus' death and resurrection for African Americans living in the Jim Crow South. We're going to read a very powerful book called The Cross and the Lynching Tree. So number 10 is related to the work in that book. All right, so textbooks. We have the Bible. You'll need a Bible and use a recent translation, not sort of an old King James Version translation. And then you'll need to buy Cone, James Cone, or get it from the library, The Cross and the Lynching Tree, which I just mentioned. Number 3, you need to have the book by Marcus Borg and N.T. Wright called The Meaning of Jesus, Two Visions. The Meaning of Jesus, Two Visions. Both of those books, the Cone book and the Borg Wright book, are event books. By that I mean there is an assignment related to that book. And that's different. Those two books are different than this fourth one by Mark Strauss called Four Portraits, One Jesus, a survey of Jesus and the Gospels. This book is a very important one because we will be using this book week in and week out. In fact, the course is designed to follow the chapters. So, just say chapter 10, its topic will be the topic of the week when chapter 10 is read. So you need the other two, but you by far and away, you need this fourth textbook, the Four Portraits, One Jesus, and you need to get it immediately. We're jumping in the first week, this first week coming up. So get that book as soon as possible. There is a first edition and a second edition. I want you to get the second edition, please. Okay, so those are the textbooks. Now the assignments, course assignments. Why is that big red spot there? Sorry, it's bothering me. Maybe if I go like this. There we go. Now I can proceed. All right, so here are the assignments. There are chapter quizzes. They're worth 10%. So each week, my iPad just dropped. It's falling apart here. Technical difficulties. Okay, we're back. Chapter quizzes. That was fun. For every week, we'll have a chapter quiz from the 4 Portraits, 1 Jesus. So that's why you really need to get it. You'll have 2 attempts at the quiz. So it's not just a one-off. You can take 2, cracks at it. Then number 2, reading the 4 Gospels. This is what we were talking about. You will read through the Gospels, Matthew to John. Students will read carefully through the 4 Gospels through the course of the semester. Students will, 1, answer a weekly question about the reading. And number 2, students will participate in a weekly discussion about the content of the reading. And then here's the schedule for the readings through the course of the semester. Number 3, review and critique the meaning of Jesus. This is 15%. You'll write a 7-page essay, and that essay should include a brief summary of the contents and a critique of the 2 views. In a conclusion, state which view you found most persuasive and why. And you should do that in 10-point New Times Roman font. So 7 pages on this project. The way this book is set up is that it has various topics, and then one writes about that topic from their perspective, and the other writes about that topic from their perspective. And so it goes on with each chapter's topic. So when you summarize the book, you will summarize the 2 competing views about the significance of Jesus. Number 4, Jesus and the Gospels research essay. Jesus and the Gospels research essay. Each student will write a 7 to 8-page research paper interpreting a gospel passage in its historical and literary context and articulating the passage's theological significance. Additional guidelines will be provided for this essay. So you're going to be given a passage from the Gospels that you will apply skills that you'll learn to interpret it. and to express its theological significance. So that's what that assignment is about. Number 5, assignment 5. This is the James Cone's book, The Cross and the Lynching Tree. And here you will write a one-page response to each chapter. So 7, including the introduction and conclusion. So there's 5 chapters with an introduction and conclusion, essentially. A writing response uses emotional logic, not rational logic. That's really important. This book, our work on this book is not a summary of the contents. It is a reaction. As you look at the picture painted in a chapter, what do you feel? That's what you write about. You write about what you feel, not a summary of the chapter. And sometimes, students don't get that point. They offer a summary of the chapter. I'm not interested in a summary. I can read the chapter for myself. What I want is you to read the chapter and then respond from an emotional logic, not a rational logic. There'll be 2 exams. The exams are open book, so they're only worth 10% because, it's open book. Journal, students will compose one journal entry fortnightly, reflecting on their learning. Fortnightly is a British way of saying every 2 weeks, if you didn't know that. So you're interested in these kinds of questions. What was learned? What did I learn? What was that learning significance? How did the process of learning make you feel? Against what did you fight? Where did you feel resistance to the learning? What were you pleased to learn? These are the kinds of questions that you might reflect on. The main idea is what was learned, what was its significance. You're writing about your learning experience. And that doesn't necessarily mean content. It's your learning that you're interested in thinking about. Of course, you can focus on content, but it's not a summary place. Don't summarize content. Talk about the way the content struck you, or how you engaged with the content. Not what's I learned about the Dead Sea Scrolls, and here's what I learned. No, you want to think about its significance for you. And, at the heart of all of this is the significance of Jesus. How has this helped you understand the significance of Jesus? How have you had a greater understanding of who Jesus is? So that's what we're talking about there. And then finally, oops, I wasn't paying attention. Man, I am just blowing it. I'm just blowing it bad. I was just talking and trying to write, and I wasn't thinking about what I was writing on. So you're reflecting on your learning. That's the main thing. Reflect on your learning. was a bad fail. This has been a terrible video. I mean, just terrible. I would not win any awards for this video. Then miscellaneous assignments. There are a number of assignments that are not listed in the syllabus, but they fall under this category of miscellaneous assignments. This is a hodgepodge of assignments that don't easily fit into a category. They range from viewing a video or a film and responding briefly to a study of some part of the gospel. And so one week will be different than the next week. One week may be slightly more challenging than the week after and the week after that. I will be posting the assignments every Sunday night, and then you will know what the miscellaneous assignments are. So they relate directly to something that we're doing that week. Yeah, so those are the assignments. Chapter quizzes, exams, meaning of Jesus, cross the lynching tree, Jesus in the four gospels, essay, reading the four gospels, journal, and miscellaneous assignments. And that's the breakdown. Obviously, the biggest one here is the 25% on the reading the Jesus and the Gospels essay. The course schedule is. I know I'm doing this. I'm sorry I'm doing this.